I'm the Brew Captain, and I'm going to show you how to make the ultimate beer bong. Let's get this started. Alright, so there's a lot of different ways that you can make a beer bong. This one's going to allow for the lowest cost with maximum capacity. The first decision you need to make is how big do you want your funnel? I chose this big. Good enough. Then you need to decide how much tubing you want. So I went with 3 feet. There's a few different kind of tubing that you can get. You can get it in like a 10-foot roll. You can do what I did, which is actually ask somebody for help and they'll cut you a piece. This was Thomas over at Lowe's, really helped me out, super great guy. The type that I went with for this beer funnel is gonna be a threaded tube. So this is a 1 inch on the interior diameter. So when you're looking, at your hardware store, it's gonna say 1 inch ID. That's the inner diameter inside here that fluid is actually gonna be going through. The reason I picked the threaded is I've done videos before where I had a beer funnel and I didn't have the threaded, which adds extra reinforcement, and it looks like this. The problem that you get when you don't get the one that's reinforced, it's $1 cheaper, but you get all these kinks inside of it. These kinks actually come because when they are rolling this tubing out onto the rolls, it's warm. So as it rolls, it crimps up. The only way to get these crimps out, if you do decide to go with the little bit cheaper option, is you need to plug one in, you need to fill it with water, and then leave it out in the sun so that it can soften, and then you'll get it back to that tube shape that you're gonna get from the threaded one. Now, this is an older beer funnel. This one doesn't work that great. I mean, it does the job, but it's literally just putting this on there. This has come off before. Sometimes it leaks. So it's not the greatest option when it comes to something that's gonna be efficient and last you for a long time. So we go ahead and show you the tools we have. I got my beer funnel. This is a heavy duty mechanics funnel. You can find it I got this one actually at Walmart. You will need a flathead screwdriver, and you're gonna have your tubing. So my tubing right here is the 3 foot. I have a 3/4 inch valve. So it has the threading on the inside. I'll show you why in just a moment. I have 2 clips that are gonna be holding our funnels on. And then I have these reducers that are gonna be helping us when we're connecting everything together. If you do decide to get one of the rolls, make sure you have yourself something that can cut through this, whether it be a utility knife or actual PVC and tubing cutters themselves. Those can get kind of costly though, so I'd recommend just having the store cut it for you. So the first step that we're gonna do is attach our reducer to our valve. When you turn it, it closes. This is gonna stop our beer from coming out when we're filling it up with however many we wanna use. So you take your reducer, you got the threads, and you screw it on. If you wanna get really fancy and put some of your plumbing tape on here so that it doesn't come through the threads, feel free. You're not having a whole lot of pressure come through here, so I don't think you really need it. Step 2 is we're gonna take our reducer and we're gonna put it onto the tube itself. Now the tube naturally has this bow. The reason you wanna put the reducer onto the valve first is so that you know what direction it's pointing. Shove it on. It also makes it a little bit easier to shove it in there when you already have the valve on. Ow. So you wanna make sure that your tube and your valve are lined up properly. Now, one thing you can do, if you don't wanna turn it like this, you can turn it 90 degrees to the side, like so. So when you're holding it, you can turn it like this. I personally think this is a little bit easier than when it's on top because it's more natural for our hand to turn this way than it is to turn this way. Plus, you can do it with one hand. Now take your ring clamp and send it down. What this is going to do is this is going to ensure that this does not come off. Now you can always unscrew it later. Saves us a little time right now. You just want to make it snug. You don't want to go too tight because you don't want to break the reducer. Like so. Now it's time to add our funnel. Different funnels look differently. I like this one because it has this nice grip on the side so you can hold it. Now, I'm making the ultimate beer bong here, so everything I'm doing is for a reason at a certain angle. Before you attach your funnel, take your next O-ring and slip it on the tube. Now I'm gonna hold my tubing exactly the way that I'm gonna be using it when I'm funneling. So my right hand is the valve and my left hand is gonna be holding the funnel. So I wanna hold it right here and I'm gonna attach the handle of the funnel opposite of where the valve is. This is where getting the threaded tubing can be a little bit more difficult because it's a little bit harder to shove it in there. And we're gonna slide our ring clamp. Once you have a position, you're gonna tighten down this ring clamp. This spot is pretty crucial because without the clamp on this side, you run the risk of the tubing falling out while you're filling it with beer. And there's nothing worse than spilling beer. Unless it's that you don't have any beer to spill. That is worse. Now, if you're wondering, I have one piece left. I still have a reducer. Well, see the valve? This is a pretty big opening. This reducer allows a more comfortable fit for when people want to be using it. Also, if you're doing it at a lot of college parties and you don't want to catch the herp, you can wipe this off a lot easier than the threads inside. Because nobody likes herpes. Screw it on in. The ultimate beer bong. Let's fill it with beer. We'll start with one and see how that goes. So this is just one beer. Pretty tasty. Now let's do it with 2 beers. We got 2 beers. But I just don't feel like it would be the ultimate beer bong unless it could hold at least 3 beers. Bottoms up. Well, it still holds 3 beers. If you like what you saw, don't forget to hit the subscribe button right here. Check out these videos over here. Stay savvy, drink responsibly. Oh man. Oh.